Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for, this is for the Pisces Eclipse that is going to be happening on September 17th. You have this resourcefulness card and this change card. I mean, eclipses are all about change. Every single reading I do for you, you get the Queen of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles right here. But the Queen of Pentacles, is resourcefulness, and you literally start with a resourcefulness card. I guess the good news about this would be the fact that, eclipses usually can bring a change or, bring some sort of ending kind of to this message. So, I feel that maybe it's like we're getting close to the end of the time where you have to be thinking resourcefully or where you really have to tap into your resources. And, the King of Pentacles is a much better card for your resources and for using your resources. So that's, definitely something to think about. And it could be really good for you. Everybody's had the tower pretty much. So, as usual, I think we're in a time of global tower moments. I wouldn't really worry too much about it. But we will definitely look into it in just a minute. You start with this King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles is a card of wealth. It does, this eclipse, definitely there have been more messages, I would say, about like building wealth. And again, wealth doesn't have to be money. This could be any type of abundance that you are hoping to manifest in your life. So it does seem to be bringing in changes that are increasing our abundance. The thing with the King of Pentacles is that we are increasing our abundance with our skills. So he has these grapes all over his cloak. And the grapes in the tarot represent something that's very difficult to grow or something that requires a lot of skill to be able to grow. And the grapes basically say that you have a skill, you have something that you are good at that's difficult for other people that could increase your resources. But again, this doesn't just have to be money. You could be really good at love, for example. And, maybe you have a specific skill in love, or maybe you're kind of like underselling like why you're special in relationships, right? And the King of Pentacles is saying like use those skills because your skills are definitely about to change. We go Page of Pentacles down to the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with. But the Ten of Swords is usually a blessing in disguise, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the Page of Pentacles is like learning something new, and even the Tower could just say that you are having kind of like a light bulb moment around your skills because of the Page of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, all these cards here. It could say that you are developing a new skill, or you're realizing that your skills aren't useful anymore, so you have to learn new skills. And again, I don't see this as a bad thing. I think we are, definitely in an amazing time for self-education, learning, things like that. You have the Five of Cups. Again, I would let go of the regrets. Again, I do feel a little of that energy where you could be holding on to the way things used to be in life, and you could be wishing, like he is kind of wishing that he still enjoyed the taste of wine. The whole story of the Five of Cups is that he's lost his taste for wine, but if he turns around, he sees these two cups, this bridge, and this castle, and so he just needs to be grateful for what he does have, and then he gets something much, much better. So he is grieving the loss of something he doesn't even really want anymore in his life. And so a lot of you, it's one of those things where it's like if you don't like your job and you're starting to say, like, I wish things used to be the way they were. And, I feel like this is saying there's something much better coming in for you, or there is a change that's coming. It's going to require you to leave a comfort zone for sure. You have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, he's standing where he has always been, and he's holding on to the world. So if he gets out into the world, he will create positive change. And again, your very first card there is the change card. And I think, one thing that I think is super interesting is that there's these two scarab beetles on this card. The scarab beetles in Egyptian mythology, they were responsible for rolling the sun over the horizon, and so it kind of represents like death and rebirth. And I feel for a lot of you that maybe you've been in this period of darkness where like the sun has kind of gone away, and now you could be entering into a time of more clarity where it's like the sun is returning, the sun is rising again in your life. And I definitely kind of get that energy off this first row, but it is going to require kind of like leaving a comfort zone, right? With the King of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is wanting to go back to the past. He is, kind of going this way towards the past position in the reading. And sometimes I feel that the Knight of Swords kind of is entering a reading. He like gets to a certain point in the reading, and then he turns around and runs away from whatever he needs to do. And so I feel like this is saying, especially with that Hangman there, that you are gaining enlightenment. So don't run away from new ideas. With the Five of Cups, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is like alchemy, trying to turn one thing into another. So there is definitely some life still in the past, but this would be about reinventing it and changing it. So it's like maybe you can't do the same thing that you've been doing all along, but there might be ways that you could upgrade your skills or learn new things that would upgrade your skills. And again, the Temperance card is really about turning one thing into another. It is a card of patience, and I do feel that you've been patient for a very long period of time, for sure. With the Two of Wands, you have the Eight of Cups. Yes, walking away from something. Again, eclipse energy doesn't really surprise me. This is the only card in the tarot that has an eclipse on it right here. So I feel like you are moving on from one thing, moving towards another. Pretty simple. We even go up to the Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords says you are moving on to calmer shores. So, again, this is a pretty simple reading. I think that there's just a big change. That wasn't working for some reason. There's just a big change going on. You have this reconnect card and this record card. So I feel for a lot of you that you could be reconnecting with your higher self. You have the Two of Cups here. And the Two of Cups can represent love, of course. But the Two of Cups is more you and your higher self communicating, or it's you communicating with your higher self. So that you can find some answers, right? So you can figure out what you're supposed to do or what your next steps are meant to be. And I kind of feel this reading is talking about your next steps in a lot of ways. I feel it is saying that your next steps are to upgrade a skill that you have, or to to move on from something that you don't enjoy any longer. And the reconnect card is saying reconnect with yourself, and reconnect with your higher self as well. You have the Hangman, the Page of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. Hangman says that you've put yourself on pause so that you can gain some inner answers. I feel that the answer that you've been trying to receive, we go Tower to the Magician. The Magician would say that, again, you have been looking for what tools are going to be best used in your life. Like, what skills do you have that could make you the most successful? And so a lot of you maybe have been put on pause. I'm also getting that some of you have maybe taken a break from a relationship or a connection. And, maybe you took this break so that you could reconnect with yourself. If I'm being honest, I feel that you're probably going to focus on someone new. So if you are on a break from a person or you took a break from a person, I kind of feel that you are deciding that you're just going to move on to something new or something different. For others, I feel that, and for pretty much all of you, I feel that you've been thinking about like what you do every single day. And the Hangman says maybe for the past, I would actually say this entire year, 2024, up until this point, you have been on pause. Like maybe things have been slower or things have been taking longer. And I also feel that you have been just kind of being on pause, just in general, kind of more in the background, thinking about things, planning things, trying to look for answers. The Page of Pentacles basically says you've been studying. And same thing with the Hangman card. He has put himself in Hangman mode so that he can gain enlightenment. And so I feel you have been doing some studying, looking for some answers. Then we have the Two of Cups, and Two of Cups is, like I said, you and your higher self looking for answers. You're communicating. This right here is a Staff of Hermes, and the Staff of Hermes is Mercury. So I feel like you've been communicating with yourself or your higher self and looking for answers, like I said. And, this is going to lead to some sort of change. It's kind of funny because the Two of Cups can represent your ego. We have this lion right here, and it can represent kind of like communicating with your ego or, fighting with your ego in some ways. I'm not saying you're like literally fighting with your ego, but, it can say that your ego is telling you to do one thing, the other parts of you are telling you to do something else. What's really interesting is that we go up to the Strength card, and the Strength card is coming up in the good stuff, which would represent you kind of like conquering your ego. She has a controlled ego because she has her hands in that lion's mouth. And so I feel a lot of you are kind of like conquering yourself in a lot of ways, Libra. It's like, yeah, there's love here, but I feel that this is one of those readings where it's really all about you. With the Hangman, you have the Page of Wands. Looking for adventure. Sometimes I feel the Page of Wands comes up when we're just looking for something new. We're bored with the way things have been. We've been in Hangman mode for too long, and we're just ready to kind of get moving. And so I don't really feel much there. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Cups. You and Taurus, you're both ruled by Venus, and you both get this card every single reading, the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups says your heart is telling you to do something. And again, that's like the problem with ego, right? Is that when our ego usually tells us to do things that might be like more money based or more 3D or whatever you want to call it. And our heart usually isn't very ego based. And now that's not always true, but what I would say is usually our heart is telling us what our heart wants, which isn't ego, right? And so I feel for a lot of you that you are moving closer to your heart, which is great. We even go up to the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords would say you're moving on to calmer shores because you're more listening to your heart. You're not so much listening to the 3D based things. With the Two of Cups, you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is sometimes feeling like you're not ready to do something. And he has these two different shoes on. He's got like a boot and a shoe on. The story of the Seven of Wands is that he feels like he had to rush out of his house to defend his position at the top of this hill. And so he was rushing so much, he put on two different shoes. And, really, the Seven of Wands says that sometimes we feel like we're being pushed into something or we're being forced to make a change before we're ready. But the truth is that we'll never be ready. And so we just have to make the change and just go through it. And I kind of feel that here. We even have the Tower. And, again, the Tower can represent a sudden insight, a sudden shock to the system, a tower moment, whatever. And so you might not feel like you're ready for a change, but I feel like you're as ready as you're going to be. Next, in the area of, if I don't throw cards today, of messages from your future self, you have this Anubius card. It says guide and protector. So you're probably protected from tower moments anyway. And you also have this Osiris card. It says heavenly messages. So definitely listen to those, to your higher self messages, especially with that Two of Cups showing up in your reading. This says that and now you have this heavenly messages card. So it's like your higher self is trying to guide you through this time. And I feel you need to pay attention to like signs, symbols, synchronicities, everything. The Anubius card says guide on it, so your guides could be trying to communicate with you. On the Six of Swords, this guy right here, he is meant to represent a guide. He goes back and forth between the choppy waters, and he is guiding those people through difficult times or through choppy waters. So if you are going through choppy waters, I feel like you will be guided through these difficult times. One thing that stands out for me, for you, Libra, the most, is that you always get the Ten of Cups in your readings. You don't have it here in this reading, but the Ten of Cups is about choosing to be happy. And I feel like there could be a lot going on in the world. Again, everybody's had the Tower. I think there's just going to be plenty of global Tower moments between now and 2033. A lot of shocks, a lot of surprises. And I think it's like how we navigate those shocks and surprises that's important. The other thing I would say is like don't allow things to become like a mind virus, right? Where it's like something happens in the world and it just consumes you and it doesn't allow you to live your life. And again, there's nothing wrong with thinking about things that are going on, of course, and like trying to think of solutions. But if something is depressing you or causing problems so much that you can't live your life, then it's a problem. And so I would be careful of that here. But what I would say is, again, I think you're kind of moving forward in the right direction. So I do like that. You have the Tower. Again, Tower is a shock to the system, new realities. Definitely, we are in a time of a new reality, plain and simple. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Pluto is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. There's going to be a lot of truths coming out, a lot of surprises, a lot of things happening in the world. So I would say buckle up, Libra. But I would also say that on a personal level, this is about navigating the new world. I've been talking about it for years. I think that, the two worlds have split, or whatever you want to talk about it, or, whatever you want to say about it. And so we have like these two worlds. And I think we need to start choosing to live in the world of love, joy, happiness, good things. And that's what I would focus on with the Tower. You also have the Ten of Swords. So Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with. And this could be the Tower as well. I do feel some of you are at this point of acceptance. So if you have had like a breakup, a separation, a job loss, or something similar, I feel like you are saying like, okay, I realize this is over. We even have the card of new beginnings right here, the Magician, and you're just saying like, what can I do now? With the Magician. The Magician has mastery over all the suits in the tarot, so he's able to use all these tools, the ace versions of all the suits. He's able to use those tools to become very successful. With the Six of Swords, you have the Hierophant. Yeah, it definitely hasn't been easy for you here, Libra. It's like, this is not a bad reading, but I think it has been challenging, what you've been through. The Hierophant would say you've been going through initiation. You've been initiated into something. And so I guess the good news is that you could be seeing, the benefits of having gone through things. With the Tower, the Five of Cups, again, I definitely got that feeling at the beginning of the reading that you are wishing that things could be the way they used to be. And I feel a lot of people feel this way. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think a lot of people are thinking like, oh, I used to be able to, work this job and it would support me. Or, I used to be able to do this and I would find love. But it's like things have changed. Things are requiring different actions for success. And so I would say that, there really is no good answer with the Tower, because with the Tower, we have to like rip the Band-Aid off. We just have to embrace the new reality, because it is reality. When we're in the Tower, we're protecting ourselves and we're not seeing reality for what it actually is. When we rip the Band-Aid off and accept the new reality, then we can become successful. So that's what I would say there. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Two of Cups again. So I really feel like this could be a new connection, though. It's like, yeah, sure, you could be letting go of a past connection, but I feel this is saying like you could be attracting or communicating with a new person, and you could be seeing how that new person is a blessing or is going to be bringing blessings into your life. In the area of the good stuff, you have this Rhino spirit. It says overcome any obstacle. You have this Wombat spirit. It says be at home on it. So I feel that you can easily overcome any obstacles that are in your way. I do feel like it could be a good time for you to, rest, relax, recover, heal from home, and really take care of yourself from home. And so I would make sure to do that. Kind of like Empress energy, really nurture yourself and pamper yourself and really get into a good space. You have this Strength card, Five of Wands, and the Magician. I feel the Strength card is kind of like saying you've conquered yourself. Like I said, I feel that you have gone through this change. The whole entire reading is saying a change. I don't know what is going on with this thing today. But anyway, I feel like you are going through a change, and you have kind of conquered your own inner voice. That lion represents your inner voice, your inner demons, your inner critic, whatever you want to call it. And this is allowing you to be more successful in the future. With the Strength card, people see how strong we are. It's like you are seeing how strong you are. You have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a card of conflict and competition, so I do feel a lot of you have been experiencing competition. The good news is it's coming up in the good stuff, and in the area of the good stuff, I look at the Five of Wands as a card of adventure. I used to call this card Indiana Jones because it's like a card of going on some sort of crazy adventure to find a reward or to get some sort of treasure. And so I feel for a lot of you that you could be finding treasure at this time, or you could be discovering the treasure in what you have been through. And I'm wondering if that's what this reading is saying. It's like, because it's not a bad reading, but I feel you have been through major challenges, right? Let's put it that way. And so in a lot of ways, I feel like it has been bad, but in other ways, I feel this is leading you to treasure. You have the Magician. The Magician is about manifestation and also reinvention. He has this snake wrapped around his waist, and the snake around his waist represents the fact that he is reinventing himself. He can reinvent himself whenever he wants, and so I feel for a lot of you that you are changing, and really the whole entire reading says that you are changing. With the Strength card, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, big change. Yeah, any changes you want to make to yourself, I would definitely make them. We have a bunch of retrogrades at the end of the year as well. But right now, between now and like October 7th, we have no personal planets, meaning Mercury, Mars, and Venus are not going retrograde. There will not be one of those going retrograde until after October 7th. So, I would say like take advantage of the time right now. Today is September 8th. Tomorrow, this video will be published tomorrow on September 9th. So I would take the time from when you watch it till October 7th to, reinvent yourself, create positive change with the Wheel of Fortune. With the Five of Wands, you have the Three of Swords. Yeah, it's like there's like one thing that you have to heal. And I feel like healing anything that is causing heartbreak or anything that is consuming your mind, right? It's like one of those things where I wouldn't It's like there are going to be a lot of problems in the world, and I'm not saying that you should, not worry about those problems or anything like that, but what I am saying is, what can you do, right? And that's what I would focus on here. Believe it or not, we had a Libra who tried to cancel me on Twitter for saying this, a few months ago, right? Unbelievable that, I suggest positive solutions, and they're like, oh, this person supports this, that, and the other thing, and I don't, by the way. It was a complete lie. But, what I would say here is, again, yes, I am all about positive solutions. Sorry that I'm trying to heal things in the world, right? With the Nine of Wands, with the Magician, you have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is about throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, especially in the good stuff. This says you're not giving up, which is good. This reading definitely is saying don't give up. But also, the Nine of Wands is about throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. It's a card of experimentation in the good stuff. So I feel that with this energy here, it would be a great time for you to like experiment, try new things, try different things, and really kind of see what happens. You have this speculation card. You know, if you are wondering if a person is interested in you, I'm just getting a yes. So there you go. I would go for it, flirt, do whatever you got to do. You have this power card. You are gaining in personal power. We know this because it's like you're overcoming something. I think sometimes it's like you're overcoming your ego, but it's like, to me, ego is not a bad thing. I think we need an ego to survive. So I'm not saying like, oh, you have this gigantic ego. It's more like just like those little things that hold us back. It's like if we're trying to be a perfectionist, right? That's ego. If we're trying to do things only to make money, that's ego, and all that other stuff. And so I think that you're taking your power back. Next, you have this excitement card. The tower, again, does not have to be a bad thing. I think people forget that the tower can sometimes be an exciting event. It can be, it can be a shock, but it could be a good shock. You could be shocked by information you discover about your business, and it changes your business. You could be shocked about, love and how love really is in the world, but it could lead to a positive change. So again, to me, the tower really isn't a bad card. You have this order card. I do think it's an amazing time to get things in order. I would actually argue that I think everybody in the collective has about 3 years-ish to really kind of like organize their life and come up with like a daily routine that works for them, and especially in work or business. And people who do that are going to kind of like sail through the next 10 years. I think people who don't are going to have a hard time. So I would definitely encourage you to like organize your life. You have this idealism card. It's like nothing is going to be perfect, and so I feel for a lot of you, it's like I keep trying to encourage people that, and I just keep trying to say like, experiment more with the Nine of Wands. Like your first idea for anything that you want in your life is probably not going to work, and that's okay. Keep trying, keep experimenting, and see how things go. But overall, very interesting. I feel like you could discover treasure if you put in the work with those last two cards there, but this looks really, really good. So kind of, in a way, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And definitely enjoy the eclipse.